I know I've talked about this before, but in case you didn't know, my last year of college, which was my junior year, it was from 2012 to 2013, I had an emotional breakdown that lasted throughout. The reason for it was I was just very frustrated with myself socially. I was really mad at my inability to just sort of put myself out there and go out and talk to people or hang with people. And, I was just too afraid of getting hurt. So instead I just decided to hurt myself. And I just decided to be totally reclusive. I never went out except for food. If I ate, I also starved myself. Thankfully, I was in a single dorm, so there wasn't another person in there to be creeped out by all the stuff I was doing. But anyway, not a very healthy time. I was taking an acting class, and it was the one thing that was really keeping me going and sort of making me a little bit more vibrant than I would have been if I was just kicking back in my room. And this teacher, who's a great guy, he made us keep these acting journals. And we would just basically just write about our character work, or if a performance had gone well, if it had gone wrong, and what did we do right, what did we do wrong, that kind of stuff. Took that idea to heart and was like, well, hey, maybe I could keep a journal of my own where I could just be completely honest and not have to worry about other people reading it or any of that stuff. But I never got around to it until the following semester. Was making plans with somebody and they cut it at the last minute. And I was just so pissed off and so overcome with angst that I just pulled out a 5-star notebook and started scribbling violently on the front page, and in red ink just spelled out all of these terrible things that I had always been saying about myself in my head, but now it was on the paper. And then I realized, maybe I'll use this journal and I'll write in it every day. I was writing in it from February 22nd to April 11th. I did 9 entries. Definitely wasn't every day if it was just 9 entries. And one of the entries wasn't even about my emotional state. It was about Ben Folds. But 8 of them, did have to do with me. I was going to read just one entry out of the bunch that I thought would be really funny to be read in a really over-the-top comical way, to just sort of make fun of all of the, distressing times I went through. I thought that it just wouldn't be right to do that because reading all of this stuff back made me realize that all the stuff I had written isn't that far removed from the stuff I do now. It's just coming from a darker and more confused place. So I decided to just take snippets of each section, the stuff that I feel okay reading publicly, and just sort of making a mini monologue out of it. That's what I'm going to do for you right now. So here it goes. Last night, holy fuck. A mere 14 hours later, and that front cover I savagely scribbled away at just seems totally silly to me now. At least I had some sense of sanity by doing the few optimistic phrases in blue lettering to juxtapose the sloppy self-loathing, indicating that this book will be a mixture of good vibes, but mostly bad vibes. I mean, what, you think if I was chilling with some cool peeps I'd be writing away my sorrows like some self-important emo kid? No. I only write when I feel bored, hollow, or unhappy, or just when I feel like it, which is when I'm bored, hollow, or unhappy. I care so much about pleasing others, but only in terms of making myself feel better. There needs to be a balance between selflessness and selfishness, because too much of one or the other can lead to equally self-destructive issues. Being too selfless turns you into a tool for people to use without consideration, and being too selfish turns you into a self-absorbed fuckface. And I'm too afraid of being proactive and of taking the steps necessary to improving my horrible self-imposed predicament. And today I thought of what my life would be like if nobody knew me on any level and how much that would suck. But then I realized that's the life I'm living now. The external and internal worlds are equally vital. You must escape from yourself, but also possess the freedom to revisit your isolation without seeing it as imprisonment. Being alone shouldn't be such a burden. Yet in light of these mature yet overly zealous statements, I'm still plagued by paranoia and self-doubt on every essential level. And this journal has become an ordeal. Fuck my lack of ambition. And my body fucking hates me now too, and I certainly don't blame it. Hideous posture, awful eating habits, ghostly white skin, frail bones, baggy eyes, and a great big bushy beard to cover up my hollow, pasty face. I'm so tired of being angry. Tired of being angry at myself, and I'm also just tired of being angry at others. I'm tired of complaining about those who care but don't have time for me, or bitching about those who have time but just don't give a shit about me. It's just the same negative crap over and over again with no end in sight. And I know I'm a prisoner to my own brain, but I'm not going to take his punishment as easily anymore. I'm going to try to break free more often, hopefully. I'm sorry, I'm not going to set any absolutes for myself or make any false promises, but fuck it, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to do it anyway. If I don't even put forth the proper effort, then why even bother bitching and moaning about it all the time? I just walked back from the parking lot, loading up my shit to escape for another weekend. The walk back was really nice. The temperature was just the right level of cold, and the sky was overcast in a not so depressing way. The feeling in my face is returning too. I gotta say, feeling the cool chill of the light wind against my cheek was just so blissful. The world rules. And that's all he wrote. After these entries, I was done with the whole, oh, woe is me, angst-ridden, spew whatever negative thought is in my head onto the paper kind of thing. I was just exhausted of it at this point. Didn't really make any huge improvements or anything like that, and my therapist told me that maybe it wasn't the most productive thing to have done, but for whatever reason, it did help me feel better. Even if it's just a little bit. That was kind of all I needed, you know? And in researching this video, I realized that all the acting journals I kept, I destroyed. I threw them out. I did it as that year ended, because I think I just wanted to wipe the slate clean, to just sort of wash my hands of this time. I'm making this video for my 20-year-old me. And I know that if he watched something like this, it wouldn't have turned his life around per se, but at least it would have made him feel a little less alone for a few minutes. And that's what I want to do for any of you out there who are currently suffering. If I made you feel any less alone for these past few minutes, I really appreciate that. And that's all I can really say. I love you. If you look in the top left-hand corner of the screen, you'll notice a link to a Twin Falls Ben Folds 5 music video I made in November of 2012. It was recorded in my dorm room, right around the time I was beginning to suffer at school. And I've included the link here for obvious reasons. I think it's a good companion piece to this video, and it sheds a lot of light on how I felt. And while I'm promoting stuff, if you could subscribe to my channel by clicking the box at the top of the screen or at the bottom of the screen, that would be awesome. And if you're already subscribed, you're fantastic. And if you could also like this video too, that's great. And apart from that promotional BS, that's all I have to say, and I'll see y'all next week.